Guys, it's Diane with Shawcraft One, and I just wanted to do a quick um, tutorial for you on how to do a wire wrapped ring. It's very simple, very basic, very good for beginners to try this out. Um, if you're just beginning doing jewelry beading or making any kind of jewelry, this is just about as basic as you need. The tools you'll need your flush cutters, your round nose pliers, and basically they're just pliers with round tips at the end, and a pair of pliers. I like these because they give me a little more grip. You'll also need some 20 gauge wire, which I have here, and I'm using brass. And you'll need your bead. I'm just using one simple little bead. And a a ring mandrel, not a Ming mandrel. You can definitely tell I'm not feeling up to par today, so I do apologize. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So basically you're just going to need about, I usually try to do, and you want to straighten out your wire so that you don't have the kinks in it, and you can basically just run your hands over it, and the more you work with the wire, you'll learn, the techniques to get the kinks out and things like that. But basically I just run my hands over it. And let me see, I'm just going to measure real quick. So you need between 16 and 18 inches to make this particular ring. And so you're just going to make sure that when you use your flush cutters, you're going to make sure that you have the flush side pointing toward the way that you're going to work with your wire. And then you just clip it. Then you're going to take your ring mandrel. Actually, what you're going to do is you're going to fold your wire in half, and it doesn't have to be perfectly even, but you want it to be somewhat. And then you'll just kind of make a little loop at the end. And then you want to string your bead on. Trying to stay in camera here. So basically you just kind of want your bead to go to the middle. And then to make it a little easier for you as you use your ring mandrel, I just kind of bend my wire a little bit, and that holds the bead on a little better for when I'm getting ready to put it on the ring mandrel. Okay? So with your ring mandrel, you have multiple sizes, and I don't know if you can see those or not, but mine goes up to a size 10. And the smallest one is a size 4. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's just a very simple, very basic ring mandrel. You don't have to have anything super expensive. Okay, and so I'm going to make a size 7 out of this ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to about a 7.5, and I'm just simply going to lay my bead on top of my ring mandrel. Now the reason I'm going to a 7.5 is because once you start doing your wire wrapping, it's going to make the ring a little bit smaller. So you want to make sure that you have enough room for that wire wrapping. Okay, so once you have it on your ring mandrel, let me make sure I've got it here on the 7.5 mark. I usually just hold the bead with my thumb, and then you're just going to wrap this piece around. Just like that. Okay? And then you're going to take the other piece on this side, and it makes it a little easier if you just hold it right here now that you've got one of the wraps completed. And then you just wrap this one around. Okay? So it's going to kind of look like this. And then I take this side and cross over, wrap it around again, because that's just going to give you a little more stability on the bottom of your ring. I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Just wrap it back around the mandrel and come back up. Now we get to the fun part, which is the wire wrapping. And you can use pliers to do this. I tend not to, but sometimes I have to. It's just according to how you get comfortable with your tools and with your wire wrapping. So basically you're going to take this side, which is going to be the right side, and you're going to wrap it. We're going to scoop this one out just a little bit so we have a little room to wrap. So you're just going to wrap it around your bead. Okay? And then you're going to take this one and wrap it as well. Now you don't want to get ahead of yourself and cross your wires. So you want to make sure that you always take your wires. So you're going to go ahead and wrap around with this one. And you want to try and make sure that it's as flush as possible. And then you wrap with this one. Okay? And then you're going to take this one and wrap it around one more time. See, and you want to make sure, well, that shows you how, that shows you how to mess up. A lot of times I use my fingernails and I'll hold my wire because it helps to keep the wire in place as you're doing your wraps. Okay, so if you want to just take your fingernail and hold your wire down, and then you take this one, wrap it around, and then we're going to wrap one more time with both of them. So you hold your wire in place with your fingernail, wrap this way, and then you're going to take this one and wrap it on around. Okay? So basically you're going to have something that looks like this on both sides. And now see how this wire has crossed here? You want to make sure that you push that back over because you don't want those wires crossed on the bottom. Okay? So that's the first part. And now we're going to take it off of the ring mandrel. And this is where the pliers come in handy. So basically you're going to take this wire and you're going to bend it so that it goes through the ring. Just like that. Okay? And all the while you want to make sure that you're holding these wires into place, making sure that they're not crossing each other. Okay? So you're going to just take this and you're going to tighten it. Make sure you hold your wire wrap, and you're just going to tighten it. Okay? And then you're going to wrap it again. So what you're going to do is basically just keep wrapping it through the inside, but you want to make sure that these pieces stay where they're supposed to be. I know it looks like a mess right now, but it will all come together once you get your wrapping done. Okay? And so you're just going to go around. And I usually like to wrap mine about 3 or 4 times. And if you need to, you can come here, pull your wires together a little bit more. And you see this little piece right here? You want to make sure that that's not scratching you when you're putting your ring on. So you're going to go ahead and take your flush cutters and you're going to cut those. And make sure you hold it down because it'll shoot across the room at you if you don't. Okay. And then you're just going to flatten it out. Okay. And you want to just take your pliers and push and just flatten that wire out a little bit. Okay. Then you're going to turn it to the other side. And I always just take my pliers and straighten out my wires right here. And you want to be careful when you touch your tool with it, when you touch your wire with your tools, because they will make indentions, okay? So if you don't want indentions like I have, just try and be easy with your pliers. It's a little hard for me right now because I'm trying to do this wrapped around the camera. So bear with me. Alright, so you're just going to take this one under and through the ring just like we did on the other side. Come to this side and just kind of pull it, making sure that these stay lined up correctly. Okay, so and then you're just going to let it run back through I'm hoping you can see this. I'm trying to do it and watch the video at the same time to make sure that I'm showing you exactly what you need to see. Okay, so you're just going to come back through, wrap it again, push this back through, and you try to keep your wraps as closely together as possible because it just looks neater that way. Okay, and let's see, we did 3 on the other side, we've got 3 on this side. So I'm going to bring this around to the front again. And then we're going to take our flush cutters. Sorry about that. And we're going to cut right here. Cut towards your mat, and that way it don't go shooting across the room or hit you in the eye. And then you're just going to take your pliers and just push that down towards the inside of the ring. And you want to make sure that that's on the front side, because if it's on the underneath side of the ring, then it's going to scratch your fingers when you put your ring on. Okay, and then you can just take your pliers, pull your wires closer together just to make them look a little neater. And I take mine, see how my wire got crossed right there? So I just want to try and take that and straighten it out. Okay, and there you go. And now you have size 7 wire wrapped ring. Now I've made a bunch of these, and my nieces and my daughter and all of her friends have gone crazy over them. So I've had to make quite a few. I guess it's the going thing. So anyways, that's basically it. Just a basic technique of wire wrapping a ring. You can make it any size you want. Just make sure that when you're putting it on your ring mandrel that you're giving yourself a little extra space, because see, now that's a size 7. And I put it on the ring mandrel, you know, at a 7.5. So you want to make sure that you give yourself room, because when you do this wire wrapping, and actually, well, this doesn't, this wire wrapping up here, it doesn't actually make the ring smaller, but it's this wire wrapping here. Once you tighten that up, it's going to pull it in a little bit and make it a little bit smaller than your original size. Okay, guys, that's basically it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please let me know and leave them down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you liked my video, and you guys have a great day.